with them, okay, for them to continue the delivery of lessons to their students. That's all, Professor Charmaine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ellen. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think rather than limiting to just or enforcing everyone to use Google Meet or Google Classroom, I think it's a better option to actually open it up as long as they're using a platform to actually conduct the online classes, whether synchronous or asynchronous. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Very, very interesting research, Dr. Elaine and team. All right, so we have ended our fifth presentation. So maybe Dr. Sumadi will proceed to the sixth presenter, all right?
Yes,
right.
Please.
All right, so we welcome now the sixth presenter with the ID IN22-021, bearing the title of the presentation or research paper, The Exploratory Factor Analysis of Lifelong Learning in Disruptive Education for Teachers under the Secondary Educational Service Area Office, Southern Thailand. So there are three authors here. Will be Dr. Phongrat Thammachat, Achan Chawat Ketip, and Achan Warala Chokamnet. Okay, apologies if I mispronounce your name. So all three are from the Educational Administration, Prince of Songkhla University, Thailand. So I bid a welcome to maybe Achan Phongrat as the first author.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, Achan, please proceed. Thank
you. No? Okay, that's it.
Excuse me, can you see the screen, please? Can you tell us, please?
Yes, we can. Yeah. The only thing is not on presentation mode, so we can see your smaller slides at the side. Maybe can go to full presentation.
I will present a research paper titled The Exploratory Factor Analysis of Lifelong Learning in Disruptive Education for Teachers under the Secondary Educational Service Area Office, Southern Thailand.
Dr. Phongrat, can you put on to the mode of presentation, slide presentation, so that we can see the slide better? Please. Okay, thank you.
Background. As well known that today's world situation is changing rapidly, the Thai education system also needs to be adapted in order to follow the changeable situation. The impact of technology nowadays also affects education as well as change the way we learn, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. The online-based approach was mostly dominated for a few years until now. We need to improve our technical skills along with the teaching approach to catch up with the currents of change and development of education. We must learn how to use and benefit from technology and its impact on education management. There are many new technologies such as mobile learn and on-demand. In particular, those who keep using the traditional teaching method might have an opportunity to be disrupted. Among the currents of change and development of education in 20th century, education and social development of the change affect the reforms of teachers in the new era. In addition, the important thing that we must balance between life and work is lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is a supplement to the human way of life. Organizing learning activities that promote lifelong learning to learn and development according to their potential to have characteristic and ability to work in response to need and adaptation of individuals to be aware of change and the development of a lifelong education, global social context. Change in the global economic and social context due to the digital revolution, change of industry, to study the analysis and synthesis of philosophies, concepts, and principles of lifelong education to become a learning community. To study teaching education is lifelong learning that reflects professional development. To educate contemporary teachers and core competency for lifelong learning. The conditions of lifelong learning of future teachers. Then to this.
Phongrat, may I interrupt? It doesn't seem to be moving. I mean the slide. Okay. It's still in background, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Research objective to analyze the exploratory factors of lifelong learning in disruptive education for teachers under the secondary educational service area of Southern Thailand or SESAO. Research methodology. This research was the quantitative research for exploratory analysis of lifelong learning factor in disruptive education for teachers under the SESAO. The sample size of this research used the concept of Hare et al. To define a 1/20 ratio, which 57 variables. The sample size was 1,140 people. The proposed sampling method. Research methodology. The 5-rating scale questionnaire on the lifelong learning factors in disruptive education for teachers. The content validity of the questionnaire was checked by 7 experts which PhD educational qualifications and got consistency and validity between 0.67 to 1. Try out which the 13 non-sample teachers under the SESAO to find the reliability of the questionnaire got a reliability coefficient of 0.963. The questionnaire was sent to 1,140 sample teachers under the SESAO. Research methodology analysis. Analysis component checking the correlation coefficient between variables. Use KMO, statistic, eigenvalue, percentage of variance. The components were extracted by using principal component analysis by selecting the components which eigenvalue. The selection criteria for questions items which element weight or factor loading of 0.6 or more, and the number of variables in each element must be at least 3 variables. Results. Factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, factor 4, and factor 5. Name is factor 1. Self-development for change. Factor 2, persistent in the mindset of change. Factor 3, growth mindset. Factor 4, using technology for beneficent professional development. Factor 5, digital disruptive literacy. Discussion. The result of the analysis, the factor of lifelong learning factors in disruptive education of teacher SESAO from the analysis. Using the factor analysis technique found that there were 5 factors included. Thai teacher must be aware of development, responsibility, learning modern technology, learning and management, online teaching, and the information communicated through the internet, which is related to structure. The important elements to promote lifelong learning in the form of learning activities, which included the practical work or on-the-job training, adult education, and information education. Discussion. In accordance with other study from Stella, Biden, and Gibson, Selby, rapid change in technology encourage teachers to learn, adapt, and be lifelong learner. As Stella said, rapid technology change creates new problems and challenges for education. Technology training is therefore necessary in lifelong learning to facilitate the development of lifelong learning should be managed. To cover all education, both formal and non-formal education, each person is responsibility for self-learning. Conclusion. Lifelong learning is the goal of learning. Enable teachers to have ability to theory and practice, yet to develop the development of teachers to have analytical thinking skills, synthetic thinking, and criticisms. Increase the skill to have a permanent knowledge in the teacher, being able to learn and their own without someone to guide them by continuous self-improvement throughout life, being professional stability, and being a morally ethical person. Preparing the next generation of teachers with the knowledge, skills, attributes, and ability to adapt to lifelong learning to keep up with the changing world and various current situations. Recommendation. Encourage teachers to attend training seminars in various formats for change and self-development. Encourage teachers to use technology or innovation in teaching and learning management and disseminate results in technology networks. Encourage teachers to develop competency according to standards, to be given opportunities, equality, and have equality in education. Encourage teachers to achieve lifelong learning in the changing conditions. Thank you very much.
Dr. Chamini?
Sorry, I had an internet glitch just now.
All right.
Apologize. I was like, I was logged out and I had to check in back again. So I apologize for the sudden absence of myself from the session. So thank you very much, Achan Phongrat, yeah, Achan Phongrat, for your presentation. Okay, on lifelong learning and disruptive education for teachers. So shall we open it to the floor? If there's anyone who would like to ask any questions or maybe give some recommendations.
Ajahn Phongrat, can you please move the slide to the finding of the 5, factors? Interestingly, 5 factors. Okay, the 5 factors. The result of 5 factors. Okay, this. Okay, so this is done. This was done with the southern part of Thailand, right? Okay, so do you think that this may be able to apply to Thailand as a whole? I learned that this is, you know, this is for southern part of Thailand, but then would that be possible to apply with others?
Is this possible? What it is possible?
It is possible.
Quite interesting to see. Okay, I think that this may be to the audience. You may trying to actually use this, you know, and then maybe replicate to some other part of Thailand and elsewhere as well. Thank you, Dr. Shamini. Right. Are you there? You have any internet?
If you have a minute, I have a question while you're waiting for Dr. Shamini.
Okay.
As a teacher, or as teachers, we are here, right? What do you think in the disruptive digital age regarding the ethical issue nowadays?
Excuse me, can you repeat your question again?
Sure. What do you think as teachers in the disruptive digital age regarding the ethical issue nowadays?
เขาถามว่าคุณคิดเห็นอย่างไรในฐานะที่เป็นคุณครูที่
ในฐานะที่เป็นครูเป็นอาจารย์นะคะในยุคดิจิทัลตอนนี้ที่มากระหน่ำโลกตอนนี้นะคะมันจะมี ethical เกี่ยวกับจริยธรรมคุณธรรมประเด็นพวกนี้ค่ะเรามีความคิดเห็นอย่างไรคะสั้นๆระหว่างรอ
sorry
Okay, no worries.
Okay. We wait until Dr. Phongrat has, you know, his question, his answers. Okay. ค่ะ
อาจารย์เขาบอกว่าคุณครูจะต้องรู้จักปรับตัวให้เท่าทันและเรียนรู้ที่จะใช้เทคโนโลยีนะคะแล้วก็มีคน
Okay.
โดยใช้
In English, you wanna speak in English for the other audience?
He mentioned that as a teacher has to learn how to use technology as along with using it as by consider the morality and fair and to be like very careful because in this nowadays technology also has a negative effects and positive effect for both teachers and students as we know in the news nowadays that sometimes students should sue the teachers by using their faces.
Okay, thank you very much.
As we teach online, sometimes students capture our feedback.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So as a teacher, you have to be very careful. Be aware of everything.
Yeah, what you text.
Right. Oh, now I leave it to Dr. Shamini.
I think we the good examples of the how teacher should use technology very careful.
Yeah, I agree. Nowadays, students love to screenshot and take excerpts and post widely all over the social media. So yes, we should safeguard and be very wary of what we actually, how we text our students and what we put on the text with when we are corresponding with them. A very interesting insight. Thank you very much for a very insightful presentation, Dr. Phongrat. And so I guess now, Dr. Sumali, we will proceed to our next presenter. Yes?
Yes.
Right. So thank you, Dr. Phongrat. All right. So now I will call upon the next presenter with the ID number of IN22-027, all right, with the paper title, The Progress and Challenges of Higher Education in Myanmar. There are two authors. So the first one will be Dr. Pani Piu, is it? And